Wassail, beautiful people. So that new moon has brought down beautiful, soft, here it's raining, but cleansing energy that's just pushing back down into the earth grid to just calm a lot of the energies that have been rising up, because it was getting a bit frantic after all. So we're going to begin with the bells, as we like to. So I mean, they were just beautiful. The energy in them was soft, absolute clarity of sound, no distortions. Obviously, there are distortions out there. There's all sorts of things. But right at the moment, today, the energy is just settling in. And now I can hear a really big plane. And that's interesting. I was just thinking about the avian beings and how they're very present at the moment. Been getting lots of messages about Seraphim syndrome, which is that idea that the Earth's grid was so heavy and dense for so long that it was twisting and distorting the energy frequencies of the body. And that's come to a kind of a head, he says jokingly, with this vagus nerve. So I'm going to begin, before doing any cards, with a short melody. Partly because we have to look at a few things that are going on at the moment, cosmically, to help us to get through this period. So, Gaïa, Uranus. Okay, I'm just going to explain so that people don't ask, and I have to write it again. I call Uranus Gaïa because it's connected to the crown consciousness, and that is the divine feminine consciousness that comes in from the galactic center of the universe. And I have been asked to do a reading on the galactic center of the universe, which I will do in the coming days. But so Gaia is now going retrograde, and it's sort of stationary direct, and it's just, as it's pausing, it's getting ready to deliver a much more open, cleansing field down through our spine and nervous system, right through our body and into the earth grid. And then the earth grid can send information back out that will be a little bit fiery because it's connected to Mars. And at the moment, if you look at a heliocentric image of the cosmos, the planets are still really, really grouped, but the difference now is when they were first grouped, the Earth has moved around, and the Earth is coming as close as it's going to get to Neptune for a while. And this is Neptune, which is the E flat of the bowl. The cleansing of very deep old emotions is going to really start to connect through and allow very old traumas to just be lifted out of our bodies. So we're going to begin with crown consciousness. That was gorgeous. Oh, that felt so lovely. I'm going to do the same thing again, and then I'm going to move up a semitone to earth it right in. Okay, so there's resistance in the earth grid to take in our consciousness. But that's not that the earth grid's being resistant, it's actually us. We're so unused to being in the earth grid. So let's just take the earth grid's Mars frequency of routing all of our molecules and just try and shake it into position. So I need you to breathe from your stomachs, pulling your stomach out forwards to breathe in. So we're going to take a deep breath from the stomach. And another one from the stomach, pushing the stomach out to breathe in. And one more. Now we're going to add chest breath. So the stomach comes out and then the chest goes up. So here we go. One more, stomach out, chest up. Okay, so I want you to imagine that your body and your molecules and your frequencies that are all around you in your auric field are the Billrost. They are the bridge between heaven and earth. We are the conduit through which those energies can pass if we open ourselves to them and allow them in. So let's do that C again of the molecules. That was gorgeous. So now we need to connect the spine so that that can carry the two consciousness. In my head, I'm hearing that the new moon has arrived. La lune nouvelle est arrivée. It's kind of telling me that for the last week, 10 days, I've not been able to summon up sound healing energies very well. It's been a bit troublesome because the energy frequency of the earth grid was just churning over so much, and this new moon is really pushing it back down and calming that frequency. It had to rise, everything has to have its moments, but that balance is settling in. Now, we're going to do A of the third eye, because we've got to start opening our consciousness much better. And this is where we're going to connect in with the vagus nerve, which is at the back here. And this has been squashing, tightening, and it's time to bring release to it, because now that Gaia has gone retrograde, it's going to be retrograde until 1st of January. There's so many wonderful cosmic things going on. A really important date to put in your diaries is winter solstice, and try and plan something gorgeous for winter solstice, because at that point is when this deliverance of the most amazing karmic joy will really take effect. I know we've got the eclipse on the 14th of December, but the big moment will be the winter solstice. So let's have this A of the vagus nerve, third eye. This is connected to the moon, and it's a new moon. So. Do you see, there's a real sense of the hesitancy of allowing this sound in. So I'm going to have to really focus the energy, change my position, stable my body, or get my body very stable in the energy and the frequency. It's still very hard to push through the sound. I can feel it here, and it's pulling the voice down into G sharp, which is quite interesting because that's Mercury. Mercury is the only planet that's all the way around the other side of the sun, like it has no voice, like we have no ability to speak at the moment. Okay, so that's getting there now. It's beginning to have pitch and tone. So now I just want to do a slight sound that I'm going to repeat at the end, which is to join up all those frequencies and help to unblock this tension. See, when you join them, the third eye is actually willing to get involved. So focus the release on your back of the neck, top of the head, where the spine meets the skull. Right, so come back to the end. Going to just, no, I don't want those, sorry. We need to look at Gaia and the earth and the vagus nerve. So, what's the message from Gaia, please? What's the message from Gaia? Here it is. What's the message from Gaia? What's the message from Gaia? What's the message from Gaia? What's the message from Gaia, please? What's the message from Gaia? Beautiful. Thurs. A great big powerful portal. What's the message from the Earth? Oh, busy. The Earth's very, very busy. We've got 3 frequencies in the Earth. Ehwaz, Yggdrasil and Ran. Very, very, very powerful frequencies. What's the message around this vagus nerve, please? Geffen, truth. That would make perfect sense, as I feel like the crushing of the vagus nerve is masking the truth. So, I'm going to use, I'm just dashing cards out first and then we'll read them. So, I'm using the Muse deck to represent Gaia. So can we please understand this portal that Thurs is opening from Gaia? Oh, dancing magic cards. There's one on the floor. Very interesting. Now, for the Earth grid, I'm going to use the Mystical Shaman deck. Okay, another load. The Earth's got a lot to say. A lot to say. Ah, I see what it's doing now. And now the vagus nerve, I'm going with the triple cosmic deck. Can we please explain the vagus nerve? I feel like I've picked up the wrong deck, but let's see. It might just give us one card and then I'll move on to a different deck. I'm getting that sense that they're saying put these down. I'll just glance at these 3 that are dashed out. No, I'll do it. I'll do them, but I need to add something from this deck. The Dreams of Gaia. I'm getting that. That's to do with Mercury being so far away. It's almost like we're feeling very distant from our voices, and the important thing is that the sun is standing between. So Mercury is having trouble getting through the heat of the sun. So try and bring your voice through joy. Because the solar plexus, the sun is a solar plexus, so try and bring your messages. If you speak a message of joy, it will communicate. Anything else you try and say will just get caught up and lost. Come on. You just said you wanted to say something, now you're not saying anything. Can we please have a card? You said you wanted to talk. Okay, so there we have it. So we're beginning with Thurs. Thurs is just an absolutely massive, powerful, huge portal. It's almost in right now representing the galactic center of the cosmos, which is in Sagittarius, and it's the big, massive black hole through which all our consciousness comes. So it's kind of saying that in the world, or in the universe that we're in, this solar system, there is molecules, which we have. Our molecules belong to the physical realm. Our consciousness belongs to the cosmic realm. And it's through the black hole that all of our consciousness seems to drive through. Thor's is so powerful that it's actually the energy inside there that is Thor's hammer in mythology, because Thor's hammer, made by the dwarves, or the gnomes as I always call them, they are dwarves, is a very powerful hammer that can smash through anything. Oh, there's just been a massive clearing in that ear of frequency change, and it's now resonating on an extremely high note. I need to... Okay, it's an E, it's solar plexus. That's what I felt it was. The sun. It's cleared now, but that was a complete frequency change that just took place. It passed right through my entire head. I think it's to do with the clearing of the vagus nerve. Maybe at the end I'll connect the E to the A for you, because it is a perfect fourth, and perfect fourths are a very important cosmic frequency. Anyway, let's move on. So the Muse of Materials is next. And it's literally saying, you have the key to walk towards your consciousness and invite your consciousness into the real world. Materials in this deck are pentacles. They're the real world. And this is your consciousness. Walk your body towards your consciousness, which is an interesting message in that I'm always telling you to draw your consciousness into the earth grid. But now it's saying you've got to, once you connect into the earth grid, you've almost got to stretch all of your molecules up towards the galactic center of the universe. And it's very interesting that that message is coming through, because I'm moving from Le Havre next week, in about 7 days, and I'm going to a small house, as I said in a community post, that's totally isolated, because of the energy of the land here and the bombings has been very distorting on the frequencies and the messages. I had to go through it. I understand that. It's taught me, and I've been able to share with you a lot about the genius loci, the energy of the frequency of space around you. But we're being told by Spirit for us to all journey to a place of complete isolation and darkness, where it's just me and the sea in a house, so that we can connect with the darkness up there and actually witness new energies. So there's a lot of exciting stuff coming for us. But that's part of the key, lifting our molecules up to greet the earth. Now, Muse cards in this deck are like the kings. They're being zen. They're the completion of a journey almost. It's not completed, but what I mean is it's the completion of the next step that we're on, because the next card we have is the wheel. Completion, a new beginning, the wheel of fortune, destiny. It's moving, it's changing, it's cranking up. The energy frequencies are being reset and transformed all around us. And consciousness is also brought up. 15, the devil, so 1015 might be worth looking up in a Google search. I absolutely love this devil card, because what she does in this card, I kind of want to talk about this thing of the seraphim syndrome again, because this is almost a perfect example of it. We are born into the earth. The earth grid has for 26,000 years been a very distorted place, that when our consciousness comes through and lands in our bodies, it's being distorted by the memory of life, by the frequency of the earth grid, because it was in a state of fury and anger. And I can really feel that here in Le Havre, because the energy of bombs going off leaves this trace energy that just keeps rising up of distortion. So as you move through that field, your consciousness gets distorted. And it is interesting that we have lived through a whole period where we seem to just start wars all over the place, because if you can bomb, maim and kill and do awful things, not just to the people but to the land, to the earth, then you create distorted frequencies. With distorted frequencies, people are fearful and they keep walking in fear, and it's much easier for them to pick up fear. It's not an energy of peace. But that energy of peace is now coming. The earth grid is changing, and for all the trauma, I want to say it's exactly what should have been, because otherwise we can't move forwards. So this devil card is about when we realize that the frequency around us is an illusion. This vortex of energy that makes us fearful, that spins all around us, and everywhere we go we keep moving into it, and we're fed more and more fears, is actually an illusion. The earth itself can, in an instant, heal frequencies, but we have to work with the earth to help it do that. And the more people that awaken to the notion of true peace and coming together, then the more that energy will speed up its healing. I mean, I want to remind everyone, when we first went into lockdown, the earth did some spectacular healings to get us to understand just how magic everything is. But the magic is returning. In fact, actually, last night in here, do you remember I told you about bells I heard in the sea, tiny, twinkling, high? They were kind of like this. There's bells now ringing outside. Oh, so they were like that, little tiny tinkles. Last night, as the new moon was approaching, I heard similar bells, but not the same. Right inside here, just behind me over there, and I couldn't find them, but I knew that it was more spiritual magic unfolding, just reminding me that we're all on the right pathway at the moment to something much more special. So, and bells. Look, bells are really important. I know I ring bells at the beginning, but bells are very good at cleansing frequencies. When I used to do Kundalini work, I would hear massive church bell type things. They weren't church bells. They were dimensions unlocking and shifting, and they just sound like giant metal bells resonating a frequency to unlock the other realms so that they can flow through. I mean, it was so intense, usually I'd pass out. In fact, I'm going to tell you a story which I've told before, but once when doing Kundalini energy work, I connected with the earth grid's frequency. So the energy of the earth grid, raw masculine as it was back then, came rushing up. It met in my heart with my divine consciousness in its fullness, my higher self. And as they met, all around me, all of these distortions rotated and took place. And then I fell over backwards, passed out, and I smacked my head on concrete. But because I was connected to my higher self, although, gunshot now. Although I was, it wasn't a gunshot, but it was a bang. Although I'd passed out, my higher self's consciousness was still awake and knew exactly what had happened. So it made me punch myself in the face with his hand to wake me back up. So amazing what can happen. So, what is the earth doing? I kind of need to show you these three cards together. We have the goddess Ran, we have the curse, and we have the lower world. Now, I've been saying for a long time, and I did an article about how the lower world demons are all being locked away because they don't belong in the future. They're part of the old raw masculine. So the strength of the energy that for thousands and thousands of years has been building that discomfort of fear and everything is being cleared out. Ran is throwing out her net to catch all the badness and to draw it away. It's being taken away. The only thing, Seraphim bird energy now, massive. So the only thing that remains, I'm sorry, I feel like they're saying to me, just pull some of these Egyptian cards about the Seraphim energy. Because I'm really feeling it around me a lot at the moment. Birds, feathers, you'll be... the birds are disturbed. From all that calm, the birds are disturbed. Right, we've got 16 and 29, but that's not enough. What else do you want to say, birds? Seraphim. That's a bit better. Oh, interesting. Oh, such beautiful messages. So look, 3 and 16, 316, maybe worth a look at. This is talking about how once upon a time we were in balance. Very, 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 very long time ago, we were in balance. All around us, the natural world supported us. Our consciousness was able to cut through with clarity into our molecules and seat itself in the earth. And this, he has a staff, and she has a hand over a jug. So we're talking about the staff being the connection between consciousness of the earth grid and the cosmos. She's got her hand over the sacral's emotions, the seat of the emotions, and she is seated, and everything was calm and comfortable. And then the energy changed, because that's what happens. And as the energy changed, it created this. It completely pulled our physical molecules towards the earth with distortion. We were no longer upright, beautiful energy frequencies. We were being drawn heavy. And that's this Seraphim syndrome I talk about. It doesn't matter how divinely conscious your intentions are, divinely, how divine your intentions are about anything, and your consciousness, how pure it is. It was being pulled into these new distorted energies that had to be experienced, because that's part of the natural cycles of the universe. And then we have blank. This card, it does represent the moon quite a lot. It represents the void of course moon, when the moon has no connections to anything. But today this card is talking about a brand new chapter, an empty page that we're at now. We're at a moment of complete transformation. And then we have card 21. 21 for me is a journey, but a completion of one cycle and the starting of a new cycle. And it's really interesting that it's kind of like we're finally beginning to stand back up again, but we need energetic stabilizers at the moment to continue that journey. So it's the old person molecules that were upright, but it's just not fully in itself. It's healing. Molecules are healing. And that's part of this Seraphim syndrome that's coming through us to us at the moment. It's calmed the birds down a lot, me telling you that. So it's telling you that was before the blank. This frequency of all that was, this, and again, I'm being drawn to this fact that it feels like it's very difficult to talk about and release the traumas, and you need to kind of, in order to release them, you've got to find some way of considering the joyful aspect of the release. So anything that was a trauma, you have to look for the positive side, which was, I witnessed that darkness, therefore I can see more light. And you have to voice that you're thankful, gratitude for the fact that you went through a trauma to step into something new, rather than hanging on to this sense that nobody cares, that you're a victim, that everything awful happens to you. See it as a rung on a ladder to somewhere new. And then we have the lower world, which, as I said, has been closed off. I did do an article, and I always dread writing these because then I forget to look them up, on my website about lower world demons being closed off. I will try and remember to add it into the description box. And as I say, Ran has spread her net to pull in all of the distortions. Now, where are we going? Into a brand new season where the energy of the Yggdrasil tree, which is the frequency of source. It's the Yggdrasil is the most powerful of all the cards in this deck, and it tells you that the realms are reweaving, that between frequencies, between energies, things are happening. So I want to say, because of this card, I was going to say it before I looked at the cards, I was going to say orbs, and as I turn the card, you're going to start witnessing a lot more orbs. You might not physically see them, but they might appear in photographs and in videos that you take. Orbs are avian at the moment. They're in various different sizes. They're spheres of energy, and when they break through, they're showing you that the molecules are transferring, because this is a card, this one here, Ehwaz, is about having climbed a mountain and come back down the other side, and it being a brand new season. So again, it's repeating that energy of the blank void of course moon card that shows you that there's freshness coming. And then it's freshness to the earth. And it really is about the molecules of the earth, because we're talking about earth frequencies with these cards. And here is Pachamama. She's really talking about this vagus nerve energy unlocking and being released. She's staring into the darkness. But what I want you to look at in her face is that there's no sense of retribution. There's more bells now. There's absolutely no sense of retribution. We have the sun and the moon at the top talking about the eclipse. So this is an energy frequency that's going to continue growing, because, as I say, the Gaia consciousness, Uranus, that's coming down, is working its way through all this kind of energy frequency as we head towards the end of this year, and Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto will all end up by the winter solstice in Aquarius, and Aquarius is the sign of the collective. So and the strength of Pachamama is in the collective. You know, it's not about some kind of, like, you know, royal bloodlines and all of that kind of thing, or councils or all of that kind of stuff. Councils in cosmic terms are always not single entities, and when they talk about councils, it's because they're in higher dimensions. We start to move and merge together. So a being from a council, in terms of us, probably is 1,000,000 souls all in one perfect unison speaking a truths. So this grows, this energy of healing, as the collective grows, as we understand our own self. And where's Where are we being taken? Got 21 again, the Gatherer. This is a karmic end, you know, a big cycle. It's the World card, and we're talking about the Earth and the molecules in the tarot. But this is about everything gathering together, abundance happening, growth happening. And, you know, the fact that we have pumpkins is this idea that from a tiny seed grows a massive amount. This is about from the seed of the consciousness of the collective, we're slowly being drawn together to create something larger than those that think they rule over us. Because we are the collective, and it's now the collective energies that are growing. And we're being taken towards the beauty way. This is, you know, the energy of life past this year. It's been a very difficult year. It's 2020, it's a judgment. And this is a frequency in which we learn to not judge ourselves for anything. Anything you did that feels traumatic for you or shameful for you, let go of it. Because you were meant to do it to experience what's coming. But you also, in this frequency, you have to learn to not judge others. Because if we judge others, we're saying that only our path is true. And any kind of frequency where we say, I know the answers, is not considering the collective, and we're moving towards the collective. So I have answers that I feel suit me, and I share them with you, and some of those answers will suit you, but some of them won't. But you don't have to take all the things I say as being an absolute truth if they don't fit your pathway. There are so many pathways, but we all need to reach out and accept that those pathways are for the individual to go through, because we've all had different life experiences, and that's what brings us towards this energy of the beauty way. So, okay, deep clicking now in the base of the spine. The message of the earth is unlocking our spines to connect frequency. So what do we have? We have the truth. So this vagus nerve that's unlocking, and I suspect this is also relating to the spine, this energy, is about the truth, but it's about, this is a card that more than anything talks about collective consciousness for me. You know, Geffen, as she stands here, is a little bit like this council idea that I told you, that she is a goddess of truth, but her truth is that she is, because she's higher dimensional, she's a billion people all joined together, a billion consciousness, all speaking as one, speaking a truth that's universal, a veritas universal, which was that word that came through the other day that seemed very, very important. I don't need to talk about this idea that, well, actually, I guess in a way I do. In the mythology, Geffen is the one who collected all of the virgin women and spinsters, and that was a really negative way of talking about it, because it's something to be feared. The energy of Geffen is the collective. It's not women, it's consciousness, it's our energy frequency. And actually, the more powerful Geffen, and almost, you know, Geffen is this same notion of Pachamama. It's as a collective joins together and has a unison of thought coming upon them, then the power grows within that consciousness to replace what was there before. And we have, this is really interesting, we have 692966. So 2's a union, talking about union with the divine, 2-9, union with the divine. The 6-9 is talking about balance with the divine, and the 6-6 is balancing and balancing. So reaching these balancing points, which creates this kind of energy, union, group consciousness coming together. So I'm going to open with The fact that we're being told 6-9 angelic assistance. So having balance with the divine. And this card is from Seraphim, because angelic, for me, the angelics are avian forces, and they are these kind of orbs that float around that I started talking about and went off the subject of, I think. But orbs are... I sat by a river, I've told this story before, but I sat by a river watching midges. And the midges were flying all around like they do in the summer over rivers. And then slowly, as I sank through the veil to see the truth, they became little tiny squiggles of energy that were all zipping around. And it was just literally energy frequencies I was seeing from other dimensions coming through into this dimension. They're always there because molecules bounce between dimensions. But I was allowing myself to stop seeing the body of the insect and seeing the frequency inside the insect that makes it alive. It's life force. Tiny, but little zips. And then as I settled into that energy, I was able to suddenly see the truth of that energy frequency rather than being this kind of zipping fast in and out. It just paused as orbs. Tiny little white orbs that just floated around. And I put my hand out and the orbs came towards my hand and they danced around, because it was trying to teach us that we control energy when we allow energy to flow correctly through us without distortions. And that's really the message that the avians are trying to bring to us. And they're saying open intuition. And this is an avian spirit, peacock spirit, and he's asking us, stop looking with your eyes and look with your soul at things. Look with your soul at things. It's really important. So peacocks open their tails with all these eyes on them. This is that energy frequency that I talked about in the new moon reading to do with the Impressionists, and also with Scardi in the fourth flower reading, where she had to pick by the feet and she picked wrong because she used her eyes to see rather than her heart. And that's this frequency that we all need to think about. What is the energetic truth of what we look at? When I lost my glasses, well, I lost them, I broke them. I have got another pair, so don't panic. I found them in my suitcase. When I look at people, I see their physical body. Losing my glasses was asking me to stop seeing the details of the physical body and actually see the energy frequencies that people resonate at. So 2-9, have a union with the divine. Have a union with the ether, Yggdrasil energy that's in everything. And then we have Rainbow Dragon. I absolutely love this card so much. So today, Rainbow Dragon is about being in your resplendent, full, undistorted energy frequency that comes as we unlock this vagus nerve. Because the vagus nerve is compact and it's about to start opening, releasing, changing our frequency, taking away fear from us, but also allowing us to walk in a lighter energy field. And it's about, the Rainbow Dragon brings a healing of all frequencies, So that's something really wonderful to look forward to. And then the next two cards that it's talking to us with is card 17, the Voyage, and card 10, which is the 10 of Pentacles. And here, it's so beautiful. She's connected with a little tiny weeny earth dragon on her arm. So as we move forwards into these new frequencies, we're going on a new cosmic spiritual journey into the earth, into the natural grid. As this unlocks this vagus nerve, it's going to awaken in us the resplendence of the natural world around us. And we've got to really look at the wonderful, beautiful world. Stop looking at the concrete, stop looking at all the rubbish we've built and made. I mean, part of a thing I've had for a long time, and I keep talking to you about how you need to go into the natural world on a journey as your sacred celestial city in your sacral, journeying into the earth and being the only person alive on the earth grid. Now, when I've been doing that during lockdown, I was doing lots of different meditations, the question that kept cropping up was, when you go to the earth grid, what's there? And I kept having a kind of debate argument with myself about, would the pyramids be there that I could go and look at? Would ancient cultures be there? Because all of time and space would be available to me. And the solution that I came to eventually, after a very long time of deep meditation, was there's just a natural world. There's nothing else. There's nothing that man created in my sacred space. All that's there is what the natural world can create. And the natural world, in its true frequencies, can make much more resplendent things to look at than man can. Man just thinks it knows how to do things. But man tends to create a distorted frequency with what it builds, because it's all very unreal. It's uncomplimentary to the natural world. It's like a stain or a scab on the natural world. And so in your sacred space, you really need to go there and witness it as a place of immense beauty. I mean, look, one of the ways in which it got me there was, there's a thing called an Elizabethan knot garden, which is kind of these wonderful little tiny low hedges with herbs and things growing in between them. But they're these beautiful ornate borders of miniature hedges, and they form wonderful kind of Celtic knots, maze type figures. And the natural world was saying, I can do something so much better than that. Just stop fiddling with me and let me show you what I can do, because I'm massively beautiful and magic. So that was that. I'm not sure any more cards need to come out, but I did promise you that I'd do another little bit of those sound healing tune. I'm gonna... Oh, I need to bring the piano back down into a key that I can sing in. This is the solar plexus joining to the third eye. Solar plexus at the moment is just such an amazing frequency. And now that little tune. Okay, so that's your little tunes, that's your little vagus nerve moment, and let's hope you can all help to unlock it and really feel this frequency change that's now sliding in to help us as we move forward. Look, just remember, everything's as it's meant to be. Don't let anyone scare you with notions and fear. All the fears are being broken down now. This is part of cosmic blue lunar storm year. All of the illusions will be broken down and we will see the collective truth. That will be revealed to us. That's a really important geffen. Okay, so, Wassail.